Hello, everyone. Father Jared Cohn, pastor of St. Joseph Pillar Families here in Shelby County, Ohio, coming to you with the December update. So this month we're going to be covering four main topics. So first, a Merry Christmas. So kind of going over Christmas Mass schedule and things related to that. So that's number one. Number two, just some staff updates as well. And then number three, be brave. So just kind of an encouragement during this time of year as well. And then also just number four, a kind of upcoming addition to just information about Beacon. So just an FYI there at the end. So first, Merry Christmas. So I know it's not quite Christmas yet, but hope that your preparations for Christmas, your Advent this is a fruitful experience for each and every one of you out there. But I just wanted to kind of remind you to look in the bulletin, Facebook for Christmas Mass time, so that way you can make sure which one you can go to. And just again, a reminder from me that if you can, you can, and please do, like, for people that may be joining us who maybe are visiting from out of town or maybe don't typically join us. They come back for Christmas because that's a tradition for a lot of people. And that's great because that's an opportunity for us to welcome them. So I just encourage you to strike up a conversation with them, to encourage them to keep coming back in future Sundays, and to just befriend them, to help encourage them to continue in their practice beyond Christmas Day itself. And then also just perhaps an encouragement too, as we do have a lot of people that join us for the Vigil Masses, that if you can make it to Christmas Day Masses, they can kind of help with the overcrowding problem we sometimes have whenever it comes to Vigil Masses. So FYI there. So just look at that. And then also finally, one final piece is that the fourth Sunday of Advent is still Holy Day of Obligation. So all the normal Sunday Masses that we have either on Saturday evening the 23rd and the morning of the 24th, that is Christmas Eve, that is still a Holy Day of Obligation. And then Christmas too is still also a Holy Day of Obligation. So make sure you make time for both those in your schedule upcoming. I know things are really busy, but it's still really important for us to set that time aside for the Lord. He came to save us from our sins, and so we can give him a couple of hours on that weekend of Christmas to worship him and to give him thanks for the many benefits that he gives to us, his faithful. So that's Christmas. And then just some staff updates. So first, we've filled almost all the positions. Yesterday we had a staff retreat day. It was beautiful. It was a great experience just to see the conviction of so many that this is where God is calling them, that God has called them to help out St. Joseph Pillar families, and that they feel like this is where they're supposed to be, even amidst all the difficulties. And so I think that's been a beautiful witness. And so it just was really, really inspiring for me to hear that, comforting for me to hear that, but then also just, made me feel very, very humbled to work with such amazing and wonderful people. So a big thank you to the staff. But just a reminder that we still do have a few positions still open. So we still have a organist position at Sacred Heart open, and then we also have a either combined DRE for 3 through 8 and CGS, or those jobs can be separated too for part-time for CGS coordinator and for 3 through 8th grade at Sacred Heart. So just want to encourage those of you out there to pray about that, to perhaps taking that on. I know in talking to some people that there is a there is this concern that, to go back to like the difficulties that we're currently facing, that they feel to take on that position would put kind of them into a kind of put them in the sight, so to speak, to receive a lot of malignment and a lot of malice, maybe not necessarily direct malice, but just like a lot of complaints, and to put them into like a very tricky situation in which people can perhaps be very vocal and they don't want to necessarily put themselves out there. But I want to encourage, if you've felt a tug, to maybe ask if the Lord is asking you to step into that, because sometimes he does ask us to suffer. Sometimes he does ask us to answer to those, to answer his call, despite the difficulties that may come to us. And with that then is kind of my encouragement to be brave, whether you're considering taking on a position that, or considering taking on something else in your life, whether it's in family parishes or whether it's just smaller scales, an encouragement to be a witness to hope. Because a lot of times there can be so much negativity, so many rumors, and so much other stuff that goes on, that I just want to encourage those of you who are trying to figure out, how do I be supportive, how do we move through this process, to just be a witness to hope. Does it mean you have to agree with everything? Well, no, absolutely not. But also at the same time, the Lord always provides. He's always worked through imperfect circumstances, and he will continue to do so. And so I just want to encourage those of you out there to be brave, to kind of step up, to just be a witness to hope, against negativity that can rule our lives and really steals from us so much joy and so much hope that the Lord wants for us to experience, especially in this Advent season as we lead into Christmas. So I just want to offer an encouragement there as well. And then finally, so I'm hoping next week, I've been working on it for a while, and they're editing because I'm trying to make it kind of nice so that way it makes it very clear what I'm trying to get at. But what I'm doing is I'm making kind of a playlist that'll be on this channel, St. Joseph Pillar of Families YouTube channel, to help us to develop, develop like beacons. And so there are kind of like 3 videos right now. I may make a 4th one as we get into the new year, but just starting out, probably 3 videos. So the first one will just be kind of like a why. So like, what are the reasons for beacons of light? Number 2 is like, what's the process? Like what led up to this point and where are we going from here? Those kind of things. And 4th is like just an overview of like what happens with the canonical merger and what that all can entail. Like obviously we don't have any sort of well laid out plans of exactly what it's going to look like, but I can kind of at least hopefully detail some of the playlists or some of the possibilities to help explain that. And and obviously it's not going to be exhaustive, but just hopefully to answer some of those questions people have had and to help us through that process. So because I think all things considered, as one of the vicars even looked at some other parishes and what they've done in terms of trying to keep people involved with beacons, we're probably very much so in the upper tier of family of parishes that I've tried to communicate what's happening and all that to people. So grateful to my staff, to my vicars, for all the ways that they've helped that to happen, to make us one of the better ones in the Archdiocese at communicating those details out. So with that, I hope each and every one of you, again, have a fruitful Advent. I hope that the Immaculate Conception was a joy-filled day for you to experience the love of our Blessed Mother and the gift that God has given us in her and her Immaculate Conception. So with that, I hope each and every one of you have a blessed day, week, and Christmas season. So with that, Father Jared Cohen, pastor of St. Joseph Pillar of Families, thanks for your time. God bless.